In 1924, a 17-year-old girl discovered something buried in the ruins of an ancient Maya city that would challenge everything we thought we knew about the past. A human skull, perfectly carved from a single piece of crystal, with no tool marks, no scratches, no explanation for how it could have been made. When scientists examined it decades later, they reached an impossible conclusion. With the technology of its time, creating this object would have required 300 years of continuous daily polishing. But that's just one skull. According to ancient legend, there are 13. And when all 13 are finally brought together, everything changes. The year was 1924. Anna Mitchell Hedges was just 17 years old when she accompanied her father, Frederick, on an archaeological expedition to the ancient Maya city of Lubantun, in what is now Belize. Lubantun. The name itself means place of fallen stones. And for good reason. The city had been abandoned for centuries, reclaimed by the jungle, its secrets buried beneath layers of earth and time. On Anna's 17th birthday, while workers were clearing a collapsed altar, something caught the light. Something that shouldn't have been there. Buried beneath the rubble was a crystal skull. Life-sized, anatomically perfect, and impossibly beautiful. But here's where the story gets strange. 3 months later, in the same location, they found the skull's detachable jaw. Perfectly fitted. As if the skull had been deliberately separated and hidden in 2 different locations. Why would the ancient Maya create such an object? And more importantly, how? The Maya had copper tools, stone implements, and obsidian blades. They didn't have the technology to carve quartz crystal, one of the hardest materials on Earth, with such precision that not a single tool mark remained. Yet somehow they did. Or someone did. But this was just the beginning. Because as word spread about Anna's discovery, other crystal skulls began to surface. And with them, an ancient prophecy that would connect them all. In 1970, the Mitchell Hedges skull arrived at the Hewlett-Packard Laboratories in California. HP, a company known for precision crystal manufacturing, wanted to understand something that shouldn't exist. What they found defied explanation. The skull was carved from a single block of quartz crystal, not pieced together, not assembled. One solid piece, including the detachable jaw, which fit with absolute precision. Under electron microscope examination, they found no scratches, no tool marks, no indication of metal instruments or any carving technique known to modern science. Here's why that's impossible. Quartz crystal has a specific grain structure. Carving against that grain should cause the crystal to shatter. Yet the Mitchell Hedges skull was carved against the natural axis of the crystal. It should have been destroyed in the process. The HP researchers calculated that even with modern diamond-tipped tools, and working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, it would take approximately 300 years to create something of this quality. 300 years for one skull. The ancient Maya didn't have 300 years to dedicate to a single object. So how was it made? And perhaps more importantly, why? The Mitchell Hedges skull wasn't alone. By the late 20th century, several crystal skulls had appeared in museums and private collections around the world, each with its own mysterious origin story. The British Museum had one. The Smithsonian had one. A skull appeared in Paris. Another in Germany. Some were clear crystal, others were smoky quartz or amethyst. But as museums began to investigate these artifacts more closely, something unexpected emerged. Something that would divide believers and skeptics for decades to come. Because not all of these skulls were ancient, and the evidence was about to get very, very controversial. In 1996, the British Museum decided to subject their crystal skull to rigorous scientific testing. Scanning electron microscopy, the kind of analysis that can detect tool marks invisible to the naked eye. And they found them. Straight lines, rotary wheel marks, evidence of modern lapidary equipment. The British Museum skull, long thought to be ancient, had been carved no earlier than the mid-1800s, almost certainly in Germany, where such decorative crystal work was popular. The Smithsonian skull? Same story. Modern. The Paris skull? 19th century at best. Skeptics celebrated. The crystal skulls, they declared, were nothing more than Victorian-era curiosities. Elaborate hoaxes. Beautiful, yes, but not ancient, not mysterious. Just tourist items sold to gullible collectors. But here's where it gets interesting. Because the Mitchell Hedges skull, the first one found, the one discovered in those ruins in 1924, it remained unexplained. Unlike the museum pieces, the Mitchell Hedges skull showed no evidence of modern tools, no rotary marks, no indication it was carved with anything but impossibly patient hand polishing. If it was a hoax, it was a perfect one. So perfect that even modern analysis couldn't determine how it was made or when. The debate intensified. Skeptics pointed to the lack of archaeological context. The skull had been found by a man whose other discoveries were questionable. Maybe the entire story was fabricated. Believers countered with the impossibility of the craftsmanship. Why create such a perfect hoax? How could anyone in the 1920s or even the 1800s create something that modern technology still can't replicate? And both sides overlooked something crucial, something the ancient Maya themselves had passed down through oral tradition. A story about 13 crystal skulls and a prophecy. A prophecy that might explain why these objects exist at all. According to Maya and Aztec oral traditions, passed down through generations of indigenous peoples, there are 13 crystal skulls hidden around the world. Each skull was created by an ancient civilization far more advanced than we imagine. Some traditions say Atlantis. Others speak of star visitors. Still others claim they were gifts from the gods themselves. These 13 skulls were separated and hidden across the globe to protect their knowledge. Because when brought together, they would unlock something profound. Some versions of the legend say the skulls contain the accumulated wisdom of the ancients. Others claim they're repositories of human consciousness itself. A few whisper that they're keys to unlocking the next stage of human evolution. The prophecy became particularly famous around December 21, 2012, the end of the Maya long count calendar. According to some interpretations, this was when the 13 skulls needed to be reunited, when humanity would face a choice between transformation and destruction. The date came and went. The skulls were not united, but according to the legend, only 7 of the 13 have ever been found. 7 skulls, scattered across museums, private collections, and perhaps still buried in ruins we haven't discovered. Which means 6 are still out there, waiting, hidden in the shadows of the past. Which raises the most intriguing question of all. What's the truth about the crystal skulls? Are they ancient artifacts proving the existence of advanced lost civilizations? Evidence of technology we've forgotten? Or are they simply beautiful objects created by skilled craftsmen, given mythology by those who want to believe in something more? The Mitchell Hedges skull remains unexplained, its craftsmanship impossible, its origin disputed, its purpose unknown. And somewhere in the world, if the legends hold any truth, 6 more crystal skulls wait to be discovered. What happens when all 13 are finally brought together? Perhaps some mysteries are better left in the shadows.